In this video, we will show you how to find out the amount of calcium ions in different samples of water. The goal of this experiment is to determine the hardness of many waters. As low the hardness of the water is, as good the water is for the skin and for the clothes. Here are the water samples we used: water from Paris, from La Seine and from the tap, and water from Moulins, from l'Allier and from the tap too. We will also need a solution of EDTA, a coloring known as net, a beaker, a burette, a magnetic stirrer, and many containers. First of all, we have to fill the burette with the solution of EDTA until it reaches 0. Then we add the first water sample in a container. Here it's water from l'Allier, and we have to pick 10 milliliters of it. Here are some bubbles, so Dorian had to pick it again. The next step is about the pH of the water. In our case, it has to be situated between 9 and 10. Then we have to add 10 drops of the coloring, known as net, into the solution, which will turn to pink, almost to purple. Finally, the most important step, we have to place the beaker with the solution under the burette. We turn on the magnetic stirrer and we start, drop by drop, to add the solution of EDTA. When the solution turns to blue, we close the tap of the burette and see how much of this solution of EDTA has been used. This quantity will allow us to find out the amount of the calcium ions we've been looking for.
We had to repeat the process for the 3 other water samples. Here we can notice that the pH of this water is too low, cause it is under 9. To solve this, we had to pick with a pipette a few drops of a solution called soude, which is used to write up the pH of a solution. In our case, we had to add one single drop to reach 10. Then, just as before, we had to add the 10 drops of net to turn on the magnetic stirrer and to add drop by drop the solution of EDTA until once again it turns to blue. Now let's have a look to the results. First, we wrote the quantity of EDTA used for each water sample to make it turn to blue as we explained. 1.7 milliliters for the Allier water, 1.9 from the tap water from Allier, 3.6 for La Seine and 4.7 for the tap water from Paris. Then, thanks to this formula, it allowed us to find out how many moles of calcium per liter were in each sample.
From this formula, we were able to find out the mass of those calcium ions in our samples of water in milligrams per liter.
It says that the amount of calcium corresponds to the concentration of EDTA times the volume of EDTA divided by the volume of the water used.
So we got 68 milligrams for the Allier water, 76 for the tap water from l'Allier, 144 for La Seine, and 188 for the tap water from Paris. We also did an experiment to prove those results, in which we made this water foam, which means moussé in French, but we didn't get the results we were expecting. The water from l'Allier should have been the one which foams the most, but it wasn't, probably because we haven't been accurate enough.